Hour.
Hello and welcome back to the Horror Hour, the show where we discuss, debate, and disagree on all things horror. I'm one of your hosts, George, and today I'm joined by my fellow co-host, Liam.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. And today we're doing a little retro reviews because, as we've mentioned in previous episodes, there's a lot of horror films that I haven't seen, and so our aim, or Yutaka and Liam's aim, is to make sure that I watch every single one of these important ones that they tell me to. So today's episode, we're going to talk about two in particular that that I'd never seen before until about 20 minutes ago. And we're just going to talk about, well, I'll talk about obviously my initial reactions, what I like, what I didn't like, and then obviously as well, Liam will also chime in. He's seen these films before, but has just recently rewatched them as well, just so he's got a fresh memory. And then he'll talk about like his thoughts. And it's just a little discussion, little retro review on two films. But we're going to start off right now, and we're going to start off with the movie The Cell, which stars Jennifer Lopez. Now, what was it that made you suggest this film?
Jennifer Lopez just won the Icon Award at the iHeartRadio Awards. And I was like, oh, let's talk about The Cell, because I love The Cell.
I actually, when I saw like the poster for it, when I was looking for it online, and I was thinking, oh, I don't know if this is like a vibe. But going into it, and the beginning of it, I was really slightly confused by it, because I was like, at the very beginning, it feels like, which I suppose is the point, it feels like two films in one, and you're like, how are these films going to collide? But they collide in a good way, and
they do.
I actually really quite enjoyed this film. I was surprised because I'm trying to think how many. I haven't really watched Jennifer Lopez in that many movies. I think I've seen Made in Manhattan, and
a classic,
Anaconda,
a classic,
and that's it. I think I haven't watched Hustlers or anything.
Oh, great.
So they're the only two films that I know from. Obviously, Anaconda was another horror film, and I really liked her in that. But no, I thought she is really, really good in this, and I liked all of the cast, to be honest. It was quite, when I was watching it, I was like, oh, there's, not off by heart, but I was like, oh, I recognize that person, recognize that person, recognize that. There's a lot of well-known faces in this. I mean, I don't know if this is before they were well-known or when they were on the way to being well-known. But it was nice to see quite a few familiar faces there. And I think the story itself is quite an interesting one to kind of mix sort of a science fiction films, if you will, with a sort of Seven type movie, which I was getting from that. But no, I said it was a really interesting concept, and it was very, very noughties. I thought, was this noughties or 90s?
I believe it was 2000. Yeah, it was 2000.
Yeah,
August of 2000. So
like it gave me it gave me like noughties horror, like the big, like the type of like some, just the way it was filmed, which obviously it was naughty, so that makes sense. But and not in a bad way. Like it reminded me of those films that I've seen from that time, and I always think those types of films, like the early noughties films. I mean, the 90s are great, and all the other ones are great, but the early noughties horror, like 2000 to 2005 or 6, is like quite a. I don't know. I find those like really comforting movies. A lot of them, especially like the American, like a lot of the American noughties horror is quite like, I don't know, comforting in a way. I don't know. I like the colors.
They were very glossy at that time, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. And this, I was really intrigued by the suits. In this, if you're watching it on YouTube, you'll be able to see behind.
As we can see
Liam.
Behind myself. Yeah, they're very sexy suits, aren't they?
They are.
But very
Power Rangers,
reminiscent of obviously the body.
Yes, like
considering they look like
the underneath
muscle.
Yes, exactly.
The underneath.
The underneath.
Yes, they look like the underneath.
That's what we call it here, the underneath. But no, I did really, really like this one. So go on then, Liam. Tell us what. Obviously, you've seen it before, but obviously the people don't know. So what are your thoughts on this film?
I love this film. I always have loved this film. As I said to George and Yutaka and our group chat earlier, she's going vintage and she's pulled out the original release DVD. Because even though I was a very young child, I was bought the DVD because I had an obsession with JLo. So I've always loved this film. As I said, for Jennifer Lopez, but like with you, going into it today, I was like, you were like, oh, this person's in it. Oh, this person's in it. And thinking about it, I was like, oh yeah, they are. Oh wow, okay, yeah. Obviously I remembered Vince Vaughn being in it, but I never remembered that Vincent D'Onofrio was the killer. I completely forgot that he was in this, which is it's like roughly because he did Men in Black around this time as well, didn't he? So it was when he was in like the infancy of his career doing quite similar things, playing creepy prosthetics people. Then there's Marianne Jean Baptiste, is it? I think I've got it up.
She's the one from Broadchurch, right? Or I know
it is.
Yes,
it is the one from Broadchurch.
I was watching it and I was like, where do I know her from? And I had to Google and I was like, oh, she's from Broadchurch. Well, season 3 of Broadchurch, I think.
Yeah. But, so the Brits will know.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, this is like a really good cast. And then obviously rewatching it a day, you could see the slight cheesiness of the 2000s throughout it. But I still love it. I just love it. It's just high camp in it, really. Like the over the top sets for the dream, for the like the mind sequences, the like royalty that Vincent D'Onofrio's split personality gives himself, the majesty and the campness, is just next level. And I still fucking love the scene where Vince Vaughn goes into the mind world. I can't remember what they call it. Goes in to try and save Jennifer Lopez because she's now believing that the world is real. And then once he does save her, and they go to that little water world where they can see the cube with the girl that's kidnapped in it. And you're just in that scene for ages, and you just think it's like a column in the corner, but then like it turns out it's actually the
guy,
the guy, and he's like creepy, and he does like acrobats, and then like kidnaps the young boy. Oh, it's great. I love that scene.
Watching it, like it gave me elements, I suppose, of Hellraiser. In a way, I feel
with
like
the body modification,
the body modification, and like sort of this being sort of being there, and sort of like obviously in that film, well, I've only seen the first one, but when you go into the box is obviously like that's a bit more like sadistic in there, but it has that sort of element of being in an otherworldly. But I think the sets were like really good. They're really interesting. I was thinking, I was like, what is this person? What is Jennifer Lopez dreaming of all the time? Like, these people have got crazy, like my imagination. I thought I had a crazy imagination, but I don't suppose you don't know what the subconscious, where it would take you. Because I was like, where did she think of this? Why was this possibly in her mind?
Well, she never thought of them. She was going into their minds.
Yeah, but when he went into...
Until the end.
Yeah.
But then, if you looked, it showed. So as she was like hazing and flipping through the book, it showed you her picking the outfit and picking the location.
Yes. It's interesting that you can do that. But it was very, I have to say, it was definitely intriguing and a very different take on what I didn't know really what to expect. I thought it was, to be honest, because she looks a bit like a geisha on the poster that I saw. I was like, what? She's in like red, like this red, and she had like quite like, I was kind of like, I don't know how has this got anything to do with a cell? And I still didn't really understand that until we met the crazy dude, the serial killer. And that was like that that part where he's like hanging over the body, and he's
Oh,
yeah, it was
giving himself an old Tommy Tank.
yeah, and that at the very beginning when that woman was in the tank, dead, I thought it was like some sort of like stasis chamber, and he was just like a janitor. And then when she started, like, I was like, what the hell is, then she started shaking. And I was like, oh no, this has got a different, it's taking a different turn.
Yeah,
But
because he
no,
had to hold himself down.
he did. But I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
So I did like it. I thought it was, yeah. I mean, it's not even, there wasn't anything necessarily that I didn't maybe like, there wasn't anything I go, oh my God, there was, I didn't like that. I just, maybe, I do like dream stuff. I kind of, it's very, at times it was given, well, obviously, I mean, or the other one, Sucker Punch was given very The Cell at times in terms of like going into these different worlds. But, and sometimes like, oh, I don't know if that's my bag, but I did really like it. And I would definitely, if it was on, I would definitely watch it. I think it wasn't what I expected anyway, but I wasn't like disappointed by what I saw. So,
oh, I'm glad I pushed for it, and you did it, and you liked it.
I liked it.
Yeah.
What would you give it out of 10 then?
8.
8. Yeah.
8. I would give it an 8.
Yeah.
I am a super fan. I love it. But I'm not delusional. I can see flaws. That obviously, looking back on certain things from that era, we can see what things that we did wrong. So I won't say it's perfect, but I did love it.
Yeah, there was parts of the film that I thought this won't age well.
Yeah,
with some of the elements, but again, I mean, like it was a different. I guess it was a different time, but it was, that was the noughties, unfortunately. It's like
everything was different then.
So they had no idea. But yeah, but for me, I still really enjoyed it. And yeah, if nobody had seen it, I would probably say, oh yeah, this would be an interesting one to watch. For sure. If you did if you didn't know anything going into it, like I didn't read anything about it, I just saw like the poster and was like, okay. And then, yeah. So.
And you get to see Lizzie McGuire's bratty little brother die. So
yes.
Plus side.
So, every cloud has a silver lining. But yeah. So The Cell, I'd give it a good 7 out of 10. And yes, I can now tick it off my list as something that I have seen.
Yay!
But
that makes me happy.
Moving on to another film, which I believe this is 90s, right? This is 98, I think, or something around.
Yes.
So this film, again, I didn't really know anything about it. And the one thing I did know, I suppose, is that, well, I thought it was about Bloody Mary, but then I looked after I'd watched it, and there is a third one called Bloody Mary. So I was convinced that this movie was about Bloody Mary, and it wasn't. But apparently there is 2 more after this. I don't know how good they are, but this one I really did enjoy. I was again this was very, very 90s slasher, which I liked about it. I liked the setting of the college. I liked the characters that were introduced. I thought it was the girl who plays Brenda, Rebecca Gayheart, was she in Scream 2 as one of the?
She was one of the sorority sisters.
Yeah, because I was like, where have I seen this girl before? And then I thought
Portia de Rossi. Yes,
because I knew Portia. Portia was the blonde one, and she's the one she has with the curly hair.
Yeah.
So no, this one, as I say, I didn't really know what it was about. I thought it was actually going to be more paranormal or supernatural, because I had this thing in my head about Bloody Mary. I thought, it's going to be like these urban legend, like spirits or something trying to kill them. I don't know why I thought that, but I did. So when it turned out to be literally like an actual person, I was like, oh, this is interesting. The coat was like, I guess that was like
fashion.
Cool, it was fashion. There was, you know, a lot of people had that coat.
But was it
And
fashion?
it's fashion, and it's fashion. It's fashion. And no, but it is fashion. But is it fashion?
I've had about 40 different versions of that fucking coat. So yeah, for me, it's fashion.
I've got I was going to put it on. I've got a similar one in the wardrobe, but it's
I've got a
broken.
similar one in all black.
Yeah. So instead, this is if they did a remake, this is what they would be. Come watch the YouTube video. What I'm wearing today is what the remake would be wearing. I think it's kind of like, you know, little bit of
it's the Parker for the 2020s.
It is. It really is. You know, I think
it's an Oodie, by the way, people.
Yes, it is an Oodie, and I think the Oodie killer would be a great killer. And I'm ready. Shudder or Blumhouse. Let's get that film
I can
made.
see it now.
I can. Could you imagine the posters? I could.
Just turning up in a different Oodie each day.
Yeah. And they're like, oh my God, we can't track them. There's too many of them. And then there's like an Oodie gang and they're all close. Anyway, I'm telling you, I would know it all. But no, I really enjoyed this film. Again, I really liked the premise of this film, because when I was looking for it online, and it came up like 20 something % on Rotten Tomatoes, which I'm
is
like,
is that all it's got?
Yeah, I'm sure it's only like 20%. And I was like, oh, it's gonna be stupid. But I was like, I can't really find anything I don't like about this film. Like, I love the story, the music, the setting, the characters. The story really was like intriguing, and I loved. Is it Natalia or Natalie, who was the lead girl? Yeah. I thought she was Natalie. I thought she was a brilliant final girl, and also friggin' Jared Leto's in this film, which I was like, that was a plot twist.
It's Jared Leto Appreciation Weekend.
It is, yes, because of course Morbius has come out. I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to see it tomorrow as of recording this. But by the time this comes out on Tuesday, I will have seen it. Dun, dun, dun. But yeah, and of course Robert Englund in this film as well. I was like, oh hello. It's crazy to see him without Freddy makeup on. Because I recently just rewatched a few of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. So he was on the brain, but he was on the brain as Freddy. And he's a really good actor. And as I say, and I loved the camp, not the camp, they call it a campus, isn't it? The campus security guard.
Oh yes, Loretta Devine.
Loretta absolutely killed this. I was like,
she was so fun.
She was so great, and I was like, she was just like I don't know. I was like, she really just, this role was made for, like, it fits so well into the story. And then it reminded me of Scream Queens, when they have that. I mean, she was a better version of it, but you know, in Scream Queens, when they have the campus. And I was thinking, I wonder.
Niecy Nash.
Yes,
Niecy Nash.
And I thought, I wonder if like that character was like a sort of spin-off inspired by that, because I feel like
I would imagine it was a homage.
I feel like urban legend. Scream Queens itself, after watching this, does feel a bit like the urban legend, like a sort of takes homage to quite a few elements.
But Scream Queens is just a homage to
that horror
90s and 2000s horror, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's a homage to all horror.
Yeah.
But like in particular, like the camp Scream Queeny type ones.
Yeah. So, but no, I really did love this film, and I was like, this is great. I thought the woman at the beginning was a silly cow, Michelle, and I'm glad she died. She was really annoying. And then you get
as well.
Yes. And but I like, and the twists, I feel like there's quite a few twists in this film that kept coming and none of them I was particular. There was, I mean, I did suspect that Brenda was the killer when she was swimming, and that girl, I was like, why? When the girl, her friend, had this jacket on and like unzipped it, and she was like, oh, what's going on? As she was unzipping it, I thought, oh, I wonder if like this is, I don't know why it popped into my head, but I was like, imagine that's like that girl's jacket and she was just borrowing it. And I wonder if that was the case, and she was on to be like, hey, here's a jacket. But everybody had that
Turned out
jacket.
a lot of people had that
A
jacket.
lot of
So
people had that jacket. It was
the
like,
janitor,
yeah,
the swimming girl, the professor.
professor. They all had it. Obviously, Macy's had a great sale on, and they all JC Penney, maybe, I don't know, but they all had that. They all had that jacket. So
They all went to Ross Dress for Less.
yes, and it was on the discount rack. But I also, though, I loved I loved the ending, like the very ending, because I was like, there was a couple of times I was like, this film can end now, like not in a bad way, but just like there was a couple of like false endings, I would say. I was like, okay.
Yes.
But then I was quite happy with then the ending that I got, and it actually, I was only after I was like, oh, I know this because I think it's Trixie and Katya talk about it. I don't know if it was on or on their podcast. And I just remember them saying something about, oh, it's like the girl at the end of Urban Legend where she goes, and this is what really happened. And I just remember that. I don't know, I stuck to my head and I was like, oh yeah, that's this part. But obviously I had no idea about the context to it. So I really did. I was like, oh, that leaves. So I mean, I would be intrigued to watch. I don't know if the other two are direct sequels or follow on from this, or if they're complete. Have you seen all of the other ones or just this one?
I believe I have seen the sequel, the first sequel.
Yeah.
I can't remember it though. I remember how I seen it. Weirdly, I can't remember the film, but I remember how I seen it because it was my granddad rented it for me on video from Blockbusters.
Oh,
that's how long ago it came out.
Yeah,
Blockbusters was still around, and so was video.
I think that one came out a couple of years later when I was looking. And then the one that I somehow know about, I've seen it when I've Googled it, was that Bloody Mary one that I think that came out in 2005, I think it said. So I'd be interested in, I mean, I think an Urban Legend remake could be really cool. But then I suppose
I don't think it needs remade.
No, I would like to see like a dark version of it, like an updated one. I mean, I did enjoy the camp like 90s slasher vibes of it anyway. And I thought the kills were really interesting and inventive, and I liked the idea that she was taking these kills from just from the book and
from a semester.
Yes. And it was I just really, really liked it. And it's always been on my radar and I've always meant to watch it. It was the same with, because I originally thought, this is how like bad I was with horror like years ago. I thought that Candyman was Urban Legend. I thought it was Urban Legend Candyman and then Urban Legend Bloody, because this fucking Urban Legend Bloody Mary, I don't know why it's so ingrained in my memory that I remember it so well. I've never seen this film, but I feel like, it probably was that I was Googling one of them and then it came up saying like, things like this, Candyman, Urban Legend Bloody Mary, and I thought, oh, it was about this, which is again where I got this whole supernatural element from. But I really, really, I really did like this film, and I just thought it was great. So that's my thought on it. And I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Well done.
Because again, I really like this film and would recommend. What about you, Liam? What about your thoughts on Urban Legend?
Again, it was I have watched this multiple times throughout my life. But it was another one I was like, well, if we're going to discuss it, I want to make sure I've watched it again. And I actually thought it was better than what I remembered it was. I think across the board, acting wise, everyone's good. I love Rebecca Gayheart. I think she is high camp. I liked Loretta Devine as the same as you. I thought she was great. I loved the scene of her watching the old it's not Jackie Brown. Yeah, it's not Jackie Brown. Is it like it's the actress that was in Jackie Brown though? Pam Grier. It was like copying off Pam Grier. Like, I thought that was great.
Yeah, I love that.
Tara Reid as well.
Yeah, that I was like, that was before she had work done.
But yeah,
She looked well
I
different.
think it was even before American Pie. I think.
Was American Pie before 1998?
No, I think this was before American Pie.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Oh,
So no, so I'm confused. I thought American Pie was older than 1998, but then I could be wrong. I mean, I haven't seen American Pie. I think I've only seen bits of it, but
oh,
I don't know.
it was.
But I didn't remember
It was either before or like roughly the same time.
I didn't know Tara Reid from Sharknado.
Oh, of course you fucking do. No, American Pie was 99. So she did this one first.
Ah, so it was the year after.
She was also in The Big Lebowski as well.
What else have I seen her in as well? What was she in later on down the line? Isn't she famous for something in between? Or is it? I don't know.
She was famous. She was like, she got really famous off of American Pie.
Right.
Because like the whole cast did. And then she did Josie and the Pussycat Dolls. I assumed you would have watched that.
No.
It seems like the type of older thing you would have somehow
stumbled across. Yeah.
I
don't know what else I know her from. She must have been in another.
I think she was in Scrubs for a little bit.
I don't know. I obviously. I mean, was she on Big Brother? I think she was on Celebs. I think she was on Celebs Big Brother, and I think that's where I know her from.
Was.
And that's what I know her from.
She was on Jedward's, yeah. Because that's why she's friends with Jedward.
Yes, that's what I know her from then. And then, and everyone was going, oh, she's from American Pie, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, Celebrity Brother 8, yeah, okay. So that's where I knew her from. And then, obviously, more recently, I've seen her in, I haven't seen Sharknado, but I've seen her in, the promos for Sharknado and things.
Yeah.
So, but yes, she's in this.
Yeah, so prior to her becoming becoming the tabloid scandal, because of her unfortunate surgery issues, she was actually quite a good actress, which I think people forget because she's good. I think she's good in this. I think she plays a good scream queen.
Yeah.
And I think she was also good in American Pie. So it's one of them things of, if we weren't such arseholes as a society, what could she have done? And Michael Rosenbaum as well. I forgot he was in this. Baby Lex Luthor. Yeah, I loved it. I would go with you 8. I would keep it on the level with
Cell.
The Cell. I think The Cell, more for nostalgia reason, gets a bit higher for me. I add points for nostalgia for The Cell. This just gets an 8 because I think looking back on it, it is good. And I didn't have nostalgia for it. I just thought it was an enjoyable film from my past.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would go with 8. I would keep
Yeah.
I think I would quite like to watch 2. Just to see.
I'd be interested to watch the other 2 and see what they are about and what they are like, and if they follow a similar, if they're both slasher films or if they go off in a completely different direction, and if they continue with the ending of what this was, or if it's just copycats and things like that. So I will definitely check them out and see what they're like. But no, both of these films I would highly recommend, and I'm glad that I watched them, because there's some films that have been presented to me on this podcast that I've had to watch, like Hellraiser, that have just really but I know that you watched them all and you actually did enjoy them in the
end. Not Hellraiser 1.
Yeah, which is the one that I stopped with that.
Or two.
So,
but I didn't mind 3.
I didn't Yutaka say 4. That they were all shocked that you preferred those ones over the first 2?
they're the ones that they think get worse.
Bloody hell. But no, obviously Urban Legend is a classic, and it has been on my radar for a while, but I'm one of these people who will sit and watch the same film 75,000 times. So I need to be like pushed into watching new, if they're not like, and talk about, I go out and see new films if they're out, but films that have been out in the past, I sometimes don't always, I'm like, yeah, I'll get around to watching them, and like never do. So I'm glad that I did watch these though, because I did really enjoy both of them. They
Good.
are what
I think Yutaka will be very pleased.
yes, he won't be
'Cause
that I
he's been
slagged
pushing.
off. Yeah, that I slagged off Hellraiser just now. He'll be rolling his eyes,
No.
but that I liked Urban Legend. He'll be going, see, I told you. So, and he would refer to these probably as popcorn flicks. These are very like watch with your friends sort of vibe.
Yeah, I could see that analysis being made.
Yeah, it's yeah, they were both a lot of fun. And if you haven't seen them, then hey, be like me and watch them, because I did enjoy them.
Yes, do, and comment down below how amazing JLo is. I will reply to you and agree.
There we go. So if you needed a reason to comment, I mean, that's the best reason that you could. Liam's going to reply to you. So
Yeah,
that's
how much of an arsehole am I that I think that's exciting?
it is. But, hey, different strokes for different folks, eh? As the old people, it's probably a British saying that. I don't know. Or do you
I
even
feel
know
like
that?
it's a British. Yeah. I feel like it's a British saying.
I always forget that most of our audience is actually Americans. Probably think they'll love that. I knew you guys will love that one. Take that home to your parents.
Culture.
Yeah, we love
learn our culture.
Exactly.
Ingest it, live in it.
You ran away from it, but we're bringing it back. But yeah, so that is today's episode. Again, I'm very thankful that I watched these two. I did really enjoy them. So thanks to Liam for The Cell, and for Yutaka and Liam for Urban Legend. I thought they were both really good films. And yes, I gave them both 8 out of 10. Let us know in the comments below if you have seen these films, and if so, what did you like about them? Or what didn't you like about them? What would you give them out of 10? Did Jennifer Lopez deserve an Oscar for her role in The Cell? We should have. I'm surprised you didn't bring her out.
Jennifer Lopez needs an Oscar for all of her films.
Every single one.
Every single one, even the shit ones.
So,
there isn't a shit one, but even the shit ones, even the ones that did shit, even though they're great.
They're great. Well, there we go.
Act.
Yes, but if you've
Perfect.
managed to survive this episode with us, thank you very much. And as always, do not forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you hit. Would you like to say something? Go on.
Make sure if there is any films you can think of that you think George probably won't have seen, put them down below.
Yes,
we can scour and see if there's anything else we can do.
Retro reviews with
Teach the kids.
King G. Yes, exactly. So make sure to comment that below. But yes, thank you very much for listening and or watching if you're on the YouTube channel. Do not forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. All of our links for our Instagram, Twitter are in the description box below. We are at The Horror Hour TV. And yes, we will see you again for another episode. Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
You have been listening to The Horror Hour. See you next time.